Good morning, Bhavana. I think she may be planning to invite the precepts.
Good morning. Is someone lined up to request the precepts?
Yes, I will do that.
And if I could ask anyone who's moving to shut your camera, because I get seasick immediately. I actually had to start taking medicine for it after Zoom started. We started doing Zooms.
You want to stop your cat? Okay.
Do you want me to start? Would you like me to start right now, the yajna?
I think we start at 11:30, isn't it?
No, no, we have to confirm bhavana.
Okay, so Bhavana, you are going to make the request. Is that correct?
Yes.
That was yes. Your video is kind of cutting off and on or stopping Ayya Sudhamma, so I don't know what you can hear. Frozen.
Just one, it takes, I need a couple of more minutes to can you hear me? I'm Ayya Sudhamma. I'd like to take a minute to introduce again Ayya Sudhamma. She has been a very active friend of Dhammadharini since the very first days of our community. And you would have seen her recently at some of our events. Ayya Sudhamma originally comes from Charlotte, North Carolina, where she is now. She received her novice ordination from Bhante Gunaratana at the Bhavana Society in 1999, and higher ordination from the newly revived Bhikkhuni Sangha in Sri Lanka in 2003. She's calling in to you from the vihara that she founded in her hometown in 2013, the Charlotte Buddhist Vihara. And with that brief introduction, I turn it over to the Ayya Sudhamma to lead in the precepts.
Thank you. Good morning. So I believe Upasika Bhavana will be requesting the 3 refuges and 8 precepts. And I don't know, I'm penned. Can they also read the script while I'm penned? Can everyone see the script okay? Okay, good.
Yes. May I start? Mayam Ayya तीसरणेन सह अट्ठशीलानि याचामि द्वितीयम्पि मयम् अय्या तीसरणेन सह अट्ठशीलानि याचामि तृतीयम्पि मयम् अय्या तीसरणेन सह अट्ठशीलानि याचामि. We, Venerable Teacher, request the 3 refuges and the 8 precepts. For the second time, we, Venerable Teacher, request the 3 refuges and the 8 precepts. For the third time, we, Venerable Teacher, request the 3 refuges and the 8 precepts.
Okay, very good. So repeat after me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddham saranam gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammam saranam gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sangham saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddham saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
Saranagamana Niktitang, the 3 refuges are complete.
Ayya.
Okay, so now we'll come to the 8 precepts, which, as I understand, you are pledging to keep for however long today that you have in mind. When you stop keeping the 8 precepts, if you stop them at some time today, you will want to take the 5 precepts, or you can, with your intention, allow them to lapse naturally at dawn tomorrow, or you can intend to maintain them for longer than that. Excuse me. Panatipata viramani sekhaparang samadhihami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
I undertake the precept to refrain from taking the life of any living creature.
I undertake the precept to refrain from taking the life of any living creature.
Adinadana viramani sekhaparang samadhihami.
Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
English, I undertake the precept to refrain from taking that which is not given.
I undertake the precept to refrain from taking that which is not given.
Abrahmacharya viramani sekhaparang samadhihami.
Brahmacharya veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
I undertake the precept to refrain from any kind of sexual activity.
I undertake the precept to refrain from any kind of sexual activity.
Musavada viramani sikhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
I'm going to save my voice. Go ahead in English.
I undertake the precept to refrain from false and harmful speech.
Surameriyama japamaratahana viramani sikhapadang samadhiyami.
Suramera Majjapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from consuming intoxicating drink and drugs which lead to carelessness.
Vikala bhojana viramani sikhapadang samadhiyami.
Vikala Bhojana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from eating at inappropriate times.
Nachagita varita visukta dasana mala ganda vilepana dharana mandana vibhusanadhana viramani sikhapadang samadhiyami.
Nachagita Vadita Visukadasanam Mala Gandha Vilepan Dharan Mandana Vibhusanatthana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from entertainment, beautification, and adornment.
Uchasayana mahasayana viramani sikhapadang samadhiyami.
Uchchashayana Mahashayana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from lying on a high or luxurious sleeping places.
Imani athasikapadani samadhiyami.
Imani Artha Sikkhapadani Samadhiyami. Imani Artha Sikkhapadani Samadhiyami. Imani Artha Sikkhapadani Samadhiyami.
Imani athasikapadani silena sugating yanti silena bhoga sampada silena nibating yanti tasma silang visodhaye. These are 8 precepts. Virtue is the source of happiness. Virtue is the source of true wealth. Virtue is the source of peacefulness, even nibbana. Therefore, let virtue be purified. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
All right, very good, very good. So as I understand it, we have the remainder of time until 11 o'clock for a little teaching. Is that right? So assuming that to be the case as last time, I will go ahead and launch into this teaching. Someone correct?
Yes, Sam, it is the case.
All right, very good. All right, so I'm going to share screen. Let's see, where is it? I'm not going to share yet. So, today is, oh, now you see my background. There it is. Today is the full moon of February. It's kind of the full moon of March, I think, in the lunar calendar. Solar and lunar, sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. So this full moon is the one in which it is remembered that 1,200 Arahant disciples came together spontaneously to see the Buddha. And he said, past Buddhas, they had lots more than he did coming together like that. But it's a one-time thing. It was very special. And this was also the occasion that under this full moon was that Venerable Mahamoggallana, Venerable Sariputta and Venerable Mahamoggallana were named as the chief disciples, number 1 and number 2 of the monks. And this was the occasion that the Buddha gave this short teaching saying this is how other Buddhas would teach, that all the Buddhas teach like this. And it's called the Ovada Patimokkha. And I understand that he would traditionally recite this whenever he was, there at the monastery with the monks. Before he would retire, he would recite this at the door of his cottage. That's what I've heard. So it's a very central, really, teaching, very important. And, all to do with these beautiful occasions, all these beautiful occasions have to do with Sangha. And now I'm going to bring up screen share. First, I want to show one thing about it. So it's a Dhammapada number 183 to number 185. And let's see, that's Buddhagita's. Okay. So in this version of these three verses, these are the Ovada Patimokkha 3 verses that the Buddha said on that occasion and would frequently recited. You see that to avoid all evil is the first line. I'm going to go to another version of this that mixes them up. Sri Lankan style, we always start with this verse, 183 of the Dhammapada first. Thai style, they start with the middle one first. But in talking about it, I'm going to start with that first one of the Dhammapada because that is how I know it. So reduce that, go back and find the others. Let's see. Here we are. So this is Digha Nikaya number 14. And this is an occasion where he's talking about a past Buddha, and he has the past Buddha give this, recite those 3 verses. Okay, I have managed to move it off the space. So let's see. Here we are. Okay, so this is it in Digha Nikaya number 14. And the reason I shifted you over to this other version, even though I prefer the order of the other one, is that this on Sutta Central,
We haven't
this one,
shifted yet.
You are not being shared?
We haven't shifted yet. We're still in the original highlighted page.
Interesting. Okay, so I will unshare. Thank you for telling me that. I could have gone on the whole teaching, not known. Is that, do you have the yellow stripe across the top, mustard colored, the Great Discourse on Harvest of Deeds? Okay, so I'm shifting over to this one because in Bhante Sujato gave a fresh translation of these scriptures, and his translations you can match together with the Pali. All the others, they don't yet have the capacity to do that, but he wrote the code that way somehow. And so it's very convenient. The Dhammapada was like a Buddharakita or somebody. I did not have the Pali together with it. Here I do. So here are the verses, but again, I like the other order. So I'm going to start here. Sabapapasa akaranang kusalasa upasampada sachitta pariyodapanang etam buddhana sasanang. Bhavana, would you be so kind to read that?
Sabbapapasa akaranam.
That was my version. You go ahead and read the English first.
Not to do any evil, to embrace the good, to purify one's mind. That is this is the instruction of the Buddhas.
Excellent. Okay, and now this part. Tanti paramanta potitikaha nibanam paramang varanti buddha nahi babajito purupaghatis nasamano hoti parang vehitayanto.
Patient acceptance is the highest austerity. Extinguishment is the highest, say the Buddhas. No true renunciate injures another, nor does an ascetic hurt another.
Anupavado anupaghato parimokhe cha sangoro matanyuta cha bhatasming pantang cha sayanasanang adijite ja ayogo etam buddhana sasanang.
Not speaking ill, not doing harm, restraint in the monastic code, moderation in eating, staying in remote lodgings, commitment to the higher mind. This is the instruction of the Buddhas.
Excellent. Okay. This, if you ever are asked by somebody, what is Buddhism in a nutshell? Go back to this verse right here. So this is the 183 in the Dhammapada. This right here, not to do evil, embracing what is good, purifying the mind. This is the teaching of all Buddhas. This is the whole teaching in a nutshell. And the reason I say that is this. Sabbapapasa karanang. So the karanang is doing something, and some form of karana or karanang. This is it just comes up often. It's just one of those words like doing, like it comes up a lot. So this is akaranang, which is undoing, not doing, doing. So not doing what? All papa, evil. Don't do evil. Don't do any evil. And kusala is what is good. Like in the 6th step of the Eightfold Path, we are to develop the right effort, is the effort to develop the wholesome and let go of the unwholesome. We are developing the kusala and overcoming the akusala. And so you see that kusala is what's good, right, proper, what leads to well-being, what is competent, skillful, clever, etc. Do that. What is this word? It's not karana, it's upasampada. And strangely, look at the definition it gives. Attainment and full ordination, what is that about? What that is about is that the word upasampada has the background meaning of raising up. And so it got adopted to mean getting ordained, to raise up from one status to the other, to raise up into the holy life, and hopefully raise up towards enlightenment. So this kusala, it's not even just to try to passively sort of allow it to happen. Make it happen. Do it. Raise it up. Raise up this goodness in yourself, these good intentions, these beautiful behaviors of body, speech, mind. And then to purify one's mind, one's chitta. Etam, this is the Buddha's sasana. So a lot of times when monastics give a blessing, we make the wish that somebody, attain nibbana in this Buddha dispensation, like somebody's passed away, or may they attain nibbana in this Buddha dispensation. That's the word we use. Sasana, dispensation. It also means the whole corpus, the whole body of the teachings. I am going to go ahead and just mute folks. You can always unmute when needed, but I'm going to just get rid of some background, feedback noise that I'm hearing. So this is the Buddha's corpus of teaching. This is his sasana. So going back over it, not doing any evil, well, that means you're not doing anything that would lead to a lower rebirth. Not doing anything that would lead to hell. And embracing the good, raising up goodness, well, that leads towards heaven, doesn't it? So we're avoiding hell. We're headed towards heaven. This is the summary of other religions for the most part. That hang on, these lookups get in the way. Don't go to hell, go to heaven. Like that's the summary of a lot of religions. This is powerful, worldly, spiritual wisdom. Oh, I know it seems weird for me to put those two words together, worldly, spiritual, but we have a whole other level of spiritual in Buddhism. So this is normal spiritual. This is ordinary worldly spiritual advice. Don't do evil, do what is good. Look at every religion around us. They teach us this, and it's beautiful. We're so fortunate. But all the major religions today are like this. In the day of the Buddha, they had truly evil religions that denied karma, that denied cause and effect, that said you could do anything and there's no impact. So we don't have anything like that around us today that I know of, and that's a wonderful thing. So, abstain from evil by body, speech, and mind. Do upasampada, raise up in you what is good of body, speech, and mind. So that means donating to charity, and that means refraining from scolding that relative who did a foolish thing again. That means maybe speak to them gently, but just venting your anger is not good. So all of the little behaviors that make up a beautiful life are kind of encompassed here. But in Buddhism, we have one more. So this is the bit about going to nibbana, purifying the mind, working with your mind. So not only do we want to cut off the lower realms, not only do we want to head towards heaven, those are temporary measures. Ultimately, we need to purify our minds and fix this whole problem. Now, if we avoid evil and embrace good to an extraordinary degree, we could become angelic beings, we could become God beings. But there's just one problem with that. Even the highest of gods, unless they're enlightened under a Buddha, still has some little something left that's not pure. So that all their intentions would be good and so forth. They're not going to have any evil for sure, but there'll still be some conceit, a little tiny bit of conceit, a little tiny bit of ignorance, a little desire to, oh, just let me exist as a god. This is awesome. They are trapped. They're like in the penthouse suite of the prison, which is so much better than falling into the lowest part of the prison. So getting up to the penthouse suite is great, but it's not freedom. Here's where we find our freedom. So you can see how this one verse is Buddhism in a nutshell. And you can remember, I really strongly encourage you to memorize this. I'll shift my screen to be more clear exactly what I'm talking about. This, from here to here. Oops. It's not cooperating. This part from here to here. Sabapasa akaranang. And then kusalasa upasampada, sikchitta pariyorapanang, edam buddhana sasanang. So you could recite that to yourself again and again and again. You know where to find it. You see up here? suttacentral.net/dn14/en for English /Sujato for Bhante Sujato's translation. And then if you go up to the top, well, I don't want to lose my place. If you go up to the top, there's a little key that's like this, a little down key. And you click that on the upper right-hand area at the very top. You click that, and that will give you options. And in those options, you can, I think that's where you find it. Or maybe it's the little wheel gear, the little gear thing. When you click this, it'll give you the opportunity to add Pali or remove Pali or Chinese or whatever else you want to do. And so then you can get the Pali and the English side by side, and you can memorize this thing. And then when people come up to you and say, well, what is Buddhism? You can say, I can answer that. Sabapasa akaranang, kusalasu pasampada sichita pariyodapanang etam buddhana sasanang. See, that's it. And then you can translate it for them. The rest of this gives advice about how to live the holy life. And it's good for everybody too. Patient acceptance is the highest austerity. Nibbana is the highest, as say the Buddhas. No true person who's gone forth injures another. A samana, an ascetic, a monk doesn't hurt another person. Skipping down to the last paragraph of this part. Not speaking ill, not doing harm, restrained according to the moral code. And this may have been spoken before we had the actual list of monk rules, Patimokkha. So that would suggest that really we're talking about the moral code. So this really applies to everybody. Moderating in food, dwelling in solitude, committed to the higher mind, adichitte. So some people say like meditation, but whatever it is about this purification of the mind, committed to doing this, etam buddhana sasanang. This is indeed the instructions of the Buddhas. Wait a minute, Buddhas? Wait, Buddhas? Where do we get Buddhas? Well, you see that long A there? This is Buddhas, because he's saying all the Buddhas. This actually shouldn't be capitalized, because when we're saying all the Buddhas, it's not a proper noun to be capitalized. But that's just my hang up. Okay. I want to linger on this one line here. This. Kanti paramang tapo titikaha. Kanti is patience. First time I took 8 precepts, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. No. I'll just say there was an occasion in the monastery where people were taking 8 lifetime precepts and getting Pali names back when I was still a laywoman. And I was given the Pali name Kanti. And I chose it. I mean, I had that option and the teacher approved it, but I didn't really know what it meant. I went to the dictionary, wrote out the definition of patience, and posted it on my wall and read it every day and scratched my head, because my idea of patience was that if I couldn't throw you across the room, I didn't. Like, patience is what you did when you were in a position that you couldn't force your will. I'm glad that I'm not there anymore. But I really didn't understand what patience is. I didn't understand trust either. I had a long way to go. Tapo is from tapas, and it's about like mortification. You may have read the horrifying list of self-mortifications that our Lord did when he was still a bodhisattva, trying to find enlightenment. He damaged and harmed and injured his body every which way, and finally realized that that's not the path, that's not the middle way. Well, those were tapas, all those behaviors that he did. He even did a bed of nails. Did you catch that detail? I've never heard anyone talk about that, but it's in there. He did the bed of nails. That is self-mortification, and that is a tapas. It's like a burning austerity. Here he's saying, patience, you want a burning austerity? You want a burning austerity? I'll give you a burning austerity. Try to be patient. There's your burning austerity. That's the real austerity. That's an austerity. That's a self-mortification that'll actually do you good. And it makes it the highest one. It's highest because no one has broken this down for us. I'm just saying off the top of my head. It's a highest austerity because it's difficult and because it's powerfully beneficial.
Ayya, can you elaborate on the word patience as you come to know it in your practice, please?
Patience is understanding that it's good for your own mind, not to try to force your will on the world. So it's a different kind of forbearance. It's realizing that when I'm wandering around thinking my will be done, I'm a fool, and I'm harming myself and I'm harming the world. A lot of times the first inkling I get that I've fallen back into that is that I start bumping into people on sidewalks and getting into arguments with everybody in every phase of my life. So someone on the board will be irritated with me. Somebody in my social circle will be irritated with me. There'll be some people among the nuns that are irritated with me, and I'm going, oh, my mother will be irritated with me. And I'll go, okay, when it's in every facet of this jewel of my life, it's me. And my patience forbearance might not be going on very well. I might be running around planting my own flag everywhere. My will be done. So when there's kind of a surrender of the heart and accepting that this is how things are, I don't quite buy into the current concept that everything happens for a reason. Actually, I nod sagely when everyone says it, like, yes, indeed, everything happens for a reason, just, because it's giving them comfort. But personally, I find it irritating. Things don't happen for a reason. Everything is driven by karma. Like, it's all pretty much. So like, there's this drive of karma, and then there's this little tiny bit of choice you have in this moment with everything else that's gone on. Here's the live wire of where you have a choice right in this instant, and you can choose wholesome or unwholesome. And there's not a whole lot more we can really do. And things aren't happening for a reason in the sense of the universe has arranged all of this. But if you accept it as it is and work with it, you're going to have a better life. Surrender to a higher power, surrender to the unfolding of the Dhamma, surrender of the heart, however it is that you can conceive of something greater than you to surrender to. The unfolding of the spiritual practice itself. That's how I kind of see the Dhamma, as the unfolding, like the unfolding of the spiritual practice right under my feet, moment by moment by moment. For me, that's the Dhamma, the living Dhamma right here and now. Some people, hang on to a god or hang on to the Buddha like a god. I don't argue with what people surrender to, but I do see that really beautifully spiritual people in all walks of life have that surrender one way or another. It's an extraordinary austerity. It is not nibbana. This is still worldly. That right there is worldly, powerful wisdom. It's in the, it's part of kusala upasampada, raising up what is good and wholesome. And boy, does it burn.
Thank you.
Ever, in our English, we say bite your tongue rather than just blurt out words that would be harmful, right? Like patience hurts. Even if you're not literally biting that tongue, it feels like something got bit. It hurts. It is 12 o'clock. Anything else before we call it a morning? All right, so it's an honor anytime to be of service to this community. Just let me know. And especially what an auspicious opportunity for me to support the meditation of the excellent community of Dhammadharini. So I am very happy to be with you today, and I'll let you go.
Could you stop, please, Ayya? Stop your share for a minute so we can all see each other.
Good idea.
Here we are. So let's say all together in appreciation for Ayya Sudhamma. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu. So
Anumodami.
may all your good intentions lead you to the very highest in this very life, or at least within this Buddha dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay.